Good afternoon and evening. This is the Rooftop Sports, and here I am back for some Mariners baseball. It is between the Seattle Mariners and the Cleveland Guardians, who will, believe it or not, they are trying to grind their way back into the wild card contention because right now they are 5 games back. So this would be a very critical series for the Mariners to at least take 2 out of 3. Don't think a sweep is going to be in the picture for this one, but at least should win the series. And want to see like other scoreboards that are going on across the board. And when I do so, hit the like button, subscribe, hit the notification to help support this channel. And to support this channel even further, donate to this channel through the YouTube Super Chats or the Venmo and or PayPal are the other options as well. Let's see what other scores are going to be going on today, especially for Friday. Got Yankees at the White Sox. Ugh, that's not going to help. Angels at the Astros, also not going to help. Tigers and Royals, that means you're cheering for the Tigers, but Detroit does not have a good pitcher, but Kansas City does. And the Texas Rangers going against the A's, and the A's are actually only 9 games below 500. They're actually not a bad team at all. And then I think those are the teams to really worry about. In the standings, the Mariners have a 3-game lead on the wild card spot, on the 3rd wild card spot. But however, they're about 2.5 games back on the other wild card spot. And as for the standings, the Mariners are now 2 games back from the division. And Sean Lee, how are you doing today? You are the first guy on the board to be chatting it up. Thank you very much for joining in. And now the game should be starting in about 8 minutes. And I was going to tell you, and I think this is the 56th Mariners game that I am doing this season. Let's see where I am at. Doing the counting right now. I'm at 56 games this season. And September, I'm hoping to do majority of it, as September is going to be... September, I should have more opportunities to be able to do the games. And if the numbers go right, I am projected to do 75, as my magic number personally is 5 to break 2024's record. And now let's look at the starting lineup for the Mariners. We got leadoff hitter Randy Arozarena, Cal Raleigh, Julio Rodriguez, Eugenio Suarez, who's been picking up a little bit, Josh Naylor, Jorge Polanco, Mitch Garver, Dom Canzone, and J.P. Crawford. Now, if you're wondering how Dom Canzone got it, Victor Robles is actually serving a suspension due to throwing a bat at a minor league pitcher. Now, to Victor Robles' defense, he was being hit 5 times, so he did snap in the frustration, which contributed to him throwing the bat. Not saying it was justified to do so, but you can see where he was coming from when he did it. But either way, no excuse. Still shouldn't have done something like that, because you usually don't want to take that kind of revenge. And the game is going to start in about, I think it's about 6 minutes from now is when the game is going to start. Yep, it is going to start in 6 minutes. And let's give myself a breather and show you about the SeatGeek, if I can find it. SeatGeek is a mobile ticketing app for sporting events, concerts, and other events. They make the buying experience easier by the app ranking each ticket from 0 to 10 to see if you are getting a good deal, and you can see exactly where you are sitting. I regularly use that app, and I have had nothing but a fantastic experience with SeatGeek. Use my promo code RooftopSports to get $20 off of your first purchase. Link to the code, app, and website will be in the description, so take advantage, and thank you. Jake Wittenberg, I believe of King 5. He is of King 5. He asked, how important is this road trip for the Mariners? It is absolutely important, because you are going up against Cleveland, who is, if they actually sweep the Mariners, they will actually be very much back in contention for the playoffs. And then after that, they do have their troubles when they do play Tampa Bay Rays on the road. And then they'll be going to Atlanta. So this is not going to be an easy, forgiving road trip, to say the least. So the Mariners will have to step up and make it happen. And for some reason, oh yeah, my scoreboard is there, should be showing. Game is going to start in just 5 minutes. 5 minutes. And I am projected to maybe have Steve on the show today. He hasn't decided yet, but we will see. And hopefully he will join the show to add more commentary to the show. Oh, Ryan Divish has been reporting that the Guardians will be honoring the members of the 1995 team that defeated the Seattle Mariners to win the American League Championship. Cleveland lost to the Braves in the World Series. This team was led by Hargrove. Yeah, the 1995 team of Cleveland, that's when they were known as the Indians. They had really big ball beaters. Catcher was Tony Pena, along with backing up was Sandy Alomar Jr. Then you had Paul Sorrento, who was your first baseman, eventually became a Seattle Mariner the very next year. Then Carlos Baerga, Omar Vizquel, Jim Thome, Albert Bell, who hit 50 home runs and 50 doubles. Kenny Lofton, who was a really fast guy with 54 stolen bases, along with 13 triples. He was really a speedster. Manny Ramirez, young Manny Ramirez, when he hit 31 home runs. You got Eddie Murray, who became a Hall of Famer. So this team had an absolutely loaded lineup. It's just too bad for them that they just were not able to. They were just not able to handle it against Tom Glavine and the pitching staff, led by also John Smoltz and Greg Maddux. And of course, you also had young Chipper Jones on that team and David Justice. So there's a lot to handle. Still waiting for the game. It's going to be about another 3 minutes. Also trying to get my stream up and running. And I do have it now. It is starting up right now. They're honoring the Cleveland Indians of 95. Paul Sorrento was hitting a home run. He was a big deal for that team. And then he left for the Seattle Mariners. They were really showing how big of a team that was. Young Manny Ramirez was up on it. They're showing him a home run hitting off of Dennis Eckersley, showing Albert Bell and his dominance of 50 home runs. He was known to have a very unique and controversial personality. And this was when it was known to be Jacobs Field. And that Cleveland team, they really should have won the World Series. It's just too bad that they ran into the Atlanta Braves by that time. Jim Thome, a very young Jim Thome. Oh, yes, and they're showing when Kenny Lofton stole home from all the way from second base due to a wild pitch by Randy Johnson, and they're showing many of the pain. I think they're trying to it sounds like they're just trying to get to the Mariners' heads. I'm going to do that. Is it me, or are the Guardians trying to mess with the Mariners by honoring their 1995 team? Is it me, or are the Guardians trying to mess with the Mariners by honoring? I will say it's a pretty crafty idea. Showing Sandy Alomar Jr. Wonder what he's up to these days. He coaches for the Cleveland Guardians since 2010. And then Logan Allen is going to be the pitcher for the Guardians. 7-10 with a 4.35 ERA. This will be a challenge. And they're showing the Mariners lineup as this game is about to begin pretty much. And this first pitch is going to be brought to you by SeatGeek. SeatGeek. Use my promo code Rooftop Sports to get your $20 off. And let's get right into business. And now here is going to be that first pitch. And here it is. And that is going to be inside for a ball. And we are underway here at T-Mobile, here at Progressive Field. As we're at 1-0 for Randy Arozarena. Now the pitch. And that's going to be right in there for a strike. Randy Arozarena batting .238 on the season. 25 home runs, career high, and 64 RBIs. As we're at 1-1. And now here is the pitch. And that's going to be a swing and a miss. And that is strike two. Arozarena has been playing in the leadoff spot for quite some time. Wonder what his numbers are since he became a leadoff hitter for this season. And now here is the 1-2 pitch. And now here's a fly ball to deep right center field. Looks like it's still sailing. And that is going to be off the wall. And Randy Arozarena is going to go to second base with an easy leadoff double. Now the numbers for Randy Arozarena as a leadoff hitter. He's been batting 192, 30 strikeouts. His numbers have not been good as a leadoff hitter. So I'm still not a fan of it. That was right off the wall. I thought for maybe a chance that it was going to be gone. 27th double of the season for Randy Arozarena. Now it's up to the big dumper, Cal Raleigh, who is batting from his right side. A few days ago, he hit his 50th home run of the season. Now the pitch, and that's going to be outside for a ball. He is now the second Mariner in history to hit 50 home runs in a season. That number, the first one was Ken Griffey Jr., who was all alone, and now he's no longer lonely on that area. And now the 1-0 pitch, and that's going to be right in there for a strike, and that is 1-1 for Cal Raleigh. On deck would be Julio Rodriguez, then Suarez and Naylor if this inning prolongs. And now we're at 1-1, and now here is the pitch, and that's way inside for a ball. And Cal Raleigh definitely should know that he's not going to get the pitches that he wants. Most home runs by a switch hitter belongs to Mickey Mantle of 1961. Also, I think that was the same season Roger Maris hit 61 home runs. And the 2-1 pitch, and that's going to be outside for a ball. Because now we're at 3-1. And the pitch, swing and a miss right at the dirt, and that's going to be strike two. Don't know why he went for that one. Roger Maris hit his 61st home run, just like Mickey Mantle hit 54 home runs. Won the World Series over the Cincinnati Reds of 1961 for the New York Yankees. Also, they had Yogi Berra still hanging around. And a lot of good players on that team. As we're at 3-2 for Cal Raleigh. And now here's the pitch. And that's going to be low for ball 4. And we got runners on first and second with nobody out. And next up to the plate is going to be Julio Rodriguez. And like Sean says, you would think that he is due for some kind of a dinger. And Julio Rodriguez, how's his season been for the Mariners? He's been 25 home runs, 263 batting average, 73 RBIs, and we're going to need a lot more RBIs going into September. And then throw it back to second, and that should be not in time. And Daniel, thank you for being here. As Julio is batting 263, 10 pitches in, and we've already have runners on first and second. Randy Arozarena looks like he barely got back in time. And RGR21, how are you doing? The pitch. Now here's a ground ball. And that's going to get right through for a base hit. And scoring the run should be Randy Arozarena. Easy. He stands up and scores. And that's going to be an RBI single by Julio Rodriguez. And it's the Mariners 1 and the Guardians nothing. Now we got runners on first and second with nobody out. And it's going to be up to good vibes only, Eugenio Suarez, to do the job. Already 10 minutes into the game. And we already, or 5 minutes into the game, and we already have a 1-0 lead. Nice hit by Julio Rodriguez. It's a good start so far. Now here is a fly ball, and that's going to drop in for a base hit, and that should be another run. Here comes Cal Raleigh, and that is going to be an RBI single by Eugenio Suarez. The good vibes only.
All right, guys, good vibes only. Don't forget it.
Stop it. Thank you.
What a start for the Seattle Mariners, jumping out to a 2-0 lead. And it happened so quickly that I didn't really have much time to say here is the pitch. And yeah, absolutely. Suarez has been getting a little bit hot. And now here is Josh Naylor up to the plate. And Josh Naylor is actually getting a standing ovation as he was a long-time Cleveland Guardian. I want to see how long he was actually with the team. He's been a player since 2019. He was a long-time Cleveland at an all-star year in 2024. And now here's the pitch, and that's going to be inside for a ball. Would like to see Josh Naylor hit a home run. Maybe do it for Cleveland. This season so far, batting .286 with 16 home runs, 73 RBIs. He's been pretty steady with the Mariners since joining. And now the pitch, and that's going to be right in there for a strike. Now we're at 1-1, and now the pitch, and that is going to be low for a ball. Eugenio Suarez, since the start of that homestand, he's been batting .222, so he hasn't been great, but he has been getting some big hits. And now we're at 2-1 for Naylor, and now the pitch. Now here's a liner, and that's going to be caught, and that is going to be a double play. Was that a double play, or was that looks like that was a ground ball double play, but that moved the runner to third base is Julio Rodriguez, as he is talking to Jose Ramirez, the best player on their team. Yep, it was a double play. I just didn't see it. It was a tough angle. Unfortunately, that is so. And now next is going to be Jorge Polanco, who is usually good with 2 outs with runners in scoring position. And now here is the pitch. And that is going to be popped up and fouled. It's good to see the Mariners have 2 quick runs, but they're going to have to do a lot more than that to withstand against Cleveland, as the Mariners do have their problems there. And now here's the pitch. And that's going to be outside for a ball. And actually, with 2 outs and runners in scoring position, Jorge Polanco, well, that's Eugenio Suarez, my bad, wrong player. As we're at 1-1, and the pitch. And that's going to be right in there for a strike, and that is strike 2. So just at the blink of an eye, there is already 2 outs due to that double play. In terms of the clutch situations, Jorge Polanco is batting .415 with runners in scoring position with 2 outs. So this is a very opportunistic moment for Jorge Polanco, as he tends to do that with runners in scoring position. Now we're at 2-2. And now the pitch. And now here's a fly ball belted to deep left field. Is that going to be fair? And that is gone. That is a home run. I believe that's a home run. It is a home run, a 2-run home run by Jorge Polanco. And just like I said it, he is clutch with 2 outs with runners in scoring position. It's the Mariners 4 and the Guardians nothing. And the Mariners are right now a running riot as a nice 21st home run by Jorge Polanco. Very, very clutch moment for him. And that was just belted. And it was just a matter if that was going to be fair. And it was fair, clearly. And now Cleveland's off to not so much of a good start. And now here's Mitch Garver up to the plate, who's actually now the designated hitter for the team. Followed will be Dom Canzone and J.P. Crawford, but the Mariners have got to keep this up. Usually when they're off to these 1-0 starts, something bad happens. Now the pitch, and that is going to be a strike. Garver's batting .208. He's playing better than last season, but it's not saying much at all. And now the pitch, and that's going to be a swing and a miss, and that is already strike 2. Logan Allen at now 23. Now here's a liner, and that is going to be a base hit. And now we got a runner again on base. And that is Mitch Garver with a nice little hit. And now it just continues for the Mariners. Now it's going to be up to Dom Canzone, who is taking over for Victor Robles due to serving a 7-game suspension. It looks like we got pitching coach coming out, or the manager. Who else? No, I think it's a pitching coach. We're going to have to see what's going on. Well, obviously, Mariners are off to a really good start, but they've got to keep it up because we've seen it where the Mariners jump out to these early leads and something just happens. Now we've got Dom Canzone up to the plate, and let's see what he can do. And now the pitch, and that's going to be a swing and a miss, an ugly swing and a miss, and that is going to be strike one. 0-1 so far. Canzone's batting .283 with 7 home runs. And now here is the pitch, and that's going to be a swing and a miss. And that is going to be strike two. As we're at 0-2 so far. And now here's the pitch, and that's going to be low for a ball. And now the pitch again, and low for a ball. As we're at 2-2, and now the pitch. Swing and a miss, strike three, and that is going to retire the side. We go to the very next inning. It is, or the bottom of the inning, it is 4-0 Mariners. Senor, tell me how you make a thin crust Sahara pizza.
With your hands. Cornmeal.
Hello, baseball fans. I'm excited to announce that we are still offering 50% off pizza and 25% off bowling Monday and Tuesdays. Head on over to Snoqualmie Sahara Pizza. This deal will go through May.
And that's how you make a Sahara pizza. Beautiful thing.
Good inning so far for the Mariners as they are off to a hot start. It is now 7-0, thanks in part to, it was Julio Rodriguez, and then it was Gino Suarez, and then it was Jorge Polanco, already jumping out to a 4-0 lead, but it's going to be up to the Mariners to see if they can hold it, as Stephen Kwan's going to be the leadoff hitter. And the pitcher for the Mariners today, it is going to be George Kirby, one of the supposed to be top starters for the Mariners, but he has struggled this season compared to seasons past. As 2 years ago, he was actually an all-star. And now we got George Kirby on the mound. And now here is the pitch. And that's going to be right in there for a strike. Got Stephen Kwan batting 271 with 10 home runs this season. Last year, he had an actually good season. Now the pitch, and that's going to be up high for a ball, and that's going to be 1-1. Now we're at 1-1, and now the pitch. And now here's a fly ball to left field, and that's going to drop in for a base hit. And that's going to be Stephen Kwan at first base with a single. Now we got George Kirby. Yeah, he's 8-6 with a 4.05 ERA. He has 26 walks to 97 strikeouts to 2 walks. And now we've got Schneemann. And now here's the pitch. And that's going to be popped up and fouled. As that's going to be a 0-1 count on Daniel Schneemann's batting 225 with 10 home runs and 32 RBIs. He looks like a high strikeout guy, if you ask me. Schneemann, he does strike out quite a bit. He has 88 strikeouts this season in 106 games. He's 28 years old. And now here's the pitch, and that's going to be outside for a ball. Schneemann is, looks like he spent a long time in the minors, in which he did from 2016 and finally made his major league debut in 2024. And now the pitch, and that's going to be a foul ball. Schneemann took a long time to get to his dream. It was a long time coming, and now he's a regular starter for the Cleveland Guardians. And now we're at 2-2 by George Kirby. Now the pitch, low for a ball, and that is 2-2. As now we're at 3-2, the full count to Schneemann with no outs. And now the pitch, and a swing and a miss, strike 3, and that is going to be 1 out. And now next up to the plate, I believe, is going to be Jose Ramirez. It is Jose Ramirez, who is batting 284. They're saying that he has good odds to hit home runs today. And now the throw back to first, and that's going to be not in time. He's batting 284 with 20 home runs and 68 RBIs. And that's going to be right in there for a strike. Now it's going to be 0-1 for Jose Ramirez. Still doing the 0-1. And now the pitch. And now here's a liner, and that is going to drop in for a base hit. That is going to be a fair ball, and Stephen Kwan has a really good chance to score, and he's going to stay at third. And now there's runners third with nobody out, with only 1 out. And next up is going to be Manzardo, who's batting 231, along with Naylor on deck. Naylor, both related to Josh Naylor. Looks like he is related to Josh Naylor. It's like they are brothers. They're a big baseball family, if you ask me. Miles Naylor on the family as well. Here's Manzardo. And now here is the pitch. And that's going to be up in there first. That's going to be in there for a strike. Kyle Manzardo. And now here's the pitch. And that's going to be popped up and fouled. And that's going to be 0-2 already on Manzardo. Most hits in Progressive Field history belongs to Jose Ramirez. Behind him is Omar Vizquel, Jim Thome, and Carlos Santana. So good company for Jose Ramirez to be a part of. And now the 0-2 pitch. And that's going to be strike 3 called, and that is going to be 2 outs. And on the A's, Denzel Clark is their cousin. Pretty big family they got there. Here is whoever's next to bat. That's going to be Naylor. Now the pitch. And that's going to be low for a ball. And good stop by Cal Raleigh. It's going to be Bo Naylor, the brother of Josh Naylor. As we're at 1-0 so far. And let's see if the Mariners can get out of this inning as quickly as possible. Batting 177 with 11 home runs and 30 RBIs. And now the pitch. And that's going to be right in there for a strike. Bo Naylor is the catcher for the Cleveland Guardians. He's on his 3rd full season, or it's more like 2nd full season. Now here's the 1-1 pitch. And that's going to be popped up and fouled. And they are down to their final strike to hopefully get George Kirby out of this inning. And it would be a massive jam to get out of. Now we're at 1-2. And now the pitch. Low for a ball. Another stop by Cal Raleigh. And I'm looking at the new Seahawks jerseys, and they look like Oregon Ducks to me. Now we're 2-2, and now the pitch. And low for a ball. Another stop by Cal Raleigh once again. And George Kirby, what are you doing, man? As now we're at 3-2. Yeah, the jerseys look absolutely atrocious. I hope they don't even wear them. I think they should just pull them. Even Dave Softy Mahler says so. Brock Heward doesn't like them either. And now we're at 3-2 for George Kirby. And now the pitch. Swing and a miss, strike 3, and that's going to retire the side. Pretty gutsy pitching by George Kirby, pitching it low, and the Mariners get themselves out of a jam. And now we're going to go into commercial break, and I got to go to the bathroom.
We're making half pineapple, half tiki tiki with barbecue chicken. You put the garlic. Put the pineapple on the whole pizza. Remember, they want half pineapple, and the one is going to be tiki tiki. Tiki tiki with pineapple, garlic, feta cheese, artichoke hearts, and the chicken. And we're gonna spread some barbecue on top. And it's ready. Put it on the oven. Let it run.
Hello, baseball fans. I'm excited to announce that we are still offering 50% off pizza and 25% off bowling Monday and Tuesdays. Head on over to Snoqualmie Sahara Pizza. This deal will go through May. Taco lovers,
This one's for you. Come enjoy tacos auténticos at Snoqualmie Mexican food truck, packed with flavor, made with love, and always fresh. Try our carne asada, al pastor con piña, and more, topped with cebolla, cilantro, y a squeeze of lime. Pair it with a cold drink and relax at our outdoor seating. Perfecto para disfrutar. Find us at the Snoqualmie Mexican food truck, open daily. Ven con hambre, sal fies.
And we are back from the break, and JP Crawford had just fouled it out, or fouled off, and that is going to be an 0-1 count. And now the pitch, and that's going to be inside for a ball. As we're at 1-1, the pitch, low for a ball. And that's going to be 2-1. And now here's the 2-1 pitch, and that's going to be fouled again. So we're at 2-2. And now the pitch. Low for a ball, 3-2. JP Crawford doing a good job drawing some bad pitches. And we'll take them. Mariners are closing in of August. And now the pitch. And a swing and a miss right at the middle. Strike 3. It was a curveball. And he gets them out of there. And now that's going to be 1 out. Mariners are 72-62. Playoff odds are at 72%, 3.1 to win the World Series. Best record versus division. Mariners have the best record against the American League Central, and that's going to be a ball for Randy Arozarena, who was the one who got it started with that double. And he got scored in thanks to Julio Rodriguez. And now the pitch. And that's going to be inside for a ball. Good eye by Randy Arozarena. In the month of August, they have won 14 games. As we're at 2-0, now the pitch. And that's going to be a foul ball. The Mariners' best month was in April when they went 16-9. If you combine March and April, they won 18 games, went 18-12. As we're at 2-1, now the pitch. And a lazy swing and a miss, and that's going to be strike 2. At home, the Mariners are 41-27, while on the road, they are 31-35. As now we're at 2-2, and now the pitch, and that's going to be outside for a ball. 3-2, the full count. So in July, they went 14-12, so they've pretty much been steady. Now the 3-2. As he golf swinged it, and that's going to be 3, and that's going to be a foul ball. As now we're 3-2 full count, and that's going to be ball 4. Yeah, he did not swing it at all. What's going on? A little bit of confusion going on. Looks like there's some arguing going on between Stephen Vogt and the umpire. They're trying to say it hit any part of the bat. Now we got a man on first base with 1 out so far. And next is going to be Cal Raleigh up to the plate. And now the pitch. And a swing and a miss, and that is going to be strike 1. Could have been a foul ball. As now we're at 0-1. Cal Raleigh walked his last time around. And he was also a scorer. As we're at 0-1 for Cal Raleigh. Throw back to first, and that is going to be not in time. And now we're at 0-1. And now oh, nope. Another throw back to first. And now the pitch. And now here's the throw up high and throw to second. And in time. And Randy Arozarena gets thrown out at second base on a stolen base attempt. And now that's going to be 2 outs. It was a throw by Naylor being done. I wonder if Dan Wilson's going to challenge this call. I wonder if he was anything close. And yep, he got him in the helmet. So that will get him out there right there. Yep, he was out by a mile. Just by the helmet. Now we're at 1-1 the pitch, and that's going to be outside for a ball. 2-1 for Cal Raleigh. Still 2-1 the count by Logan Allen. And now the pitch. And now here's a fly ball to... And nope, the outfield is going to be there right at the warning track, and that's going to retire the side. A 1-2-3 inning for the Guardians, and we will go into the bottom of the second inning, and it's still 4-0 Mariners. Commercials are still ongoing. And now we are back from the break. And now we've got the next batter up the plate. And it's going to be Arias. Gabriel Arias. And his stats, he is batting .222 with 9 home runs and 45 RBIs. George Kirby, who struggled in the first inning, got out of it, but let's see if he can get 1-2-3 this time. And now the pitch. And did that hit him, or because I think he swung through anyway. Now he's thriving in pain. Looks like he got hit on the hand, and those aren't fun to get hit on, but he did swing. Stephen Vogt has been visibly frustrated with the umpire.
I got to talk to the first base umpire, Mark Wagner.
It's not looking good for Cleveland.
Tomlinson and Wagner are discussing this as to whether or not it's a hit by pitch or a swing. Meanwhile, Ari is getting some attention from the trainer. You can hear it up here, hitting him on his arm. Yeah, no doubt it hit him, but did he?
RGR says only a period. What are you trying to say?
It's only 2 of them that are talking about it. Here come the other 2. I don't know if he looked down and then Wegman said he swung or he didn't swing.
Conversation still continues between the umpires.
First base umpire said he did not swing.
First base umpire saying that he did not swing.
Now Mark Wegner is going to go and talk to Dan Wilson. Now Stephen Vought's happy, so I think they're going to put him on first base.
So now Dan Wilson's having a conversation.
All right, there you go. Side look. Oh, that ball got him. Yeah.
It got him, but it looks like he still swung through.
Wegman, he was asked, he said no swing. So he had to explain to the home plate umpire. So maybe Nate Tomlinson thought he said strike, but clearly he did not swing, and it's a hit by pitch. So they got it right.
It's going to be a hit by pitch, and he's going to go to first base. It looks like he's going to be out of the game, too, because he is shaken up. He's not looking good. Yep, he is removed from the game. Angel Martinez is going to be the guy to take over. And we are going to go into the next hitter. It's going to be Kaifas up to the plate. He's their first baseman, batting 197. Not an overwhelming, not a good lineup. Pretty underwhelming lineup for the Cleveland Guardians. Hence why they're 5 games back from the wild card from the Mariners. Kaifas is batting 197. And now the pitch. And that's going to be missing it for a ball. As we're at 1-0. And now the pitch. Now here's going to be a ground ball, and that is going to be a play a second, but that's all they're going to get, and that's going to be 1 out. It was good for the Mariners to not have anyone advance, so I'll take that. Most starters by innings still belongs to the Seattle Mariners. They do pitch more than any starters in Major League Baseball. Even with the so-called pitching restriction count, especially that Scott Service used to do and Dan Wilson's still doing. Now here's Jones, and that's going to be in there for a strike. He is batting 0-1. It's 0-1 right now. He's batting .215 on the season. As we're at 0-1. And now the pitch. And that's going to be in there for a strike. 0-2. Now 0-2. And now the pitch. Now here's going to be a ground ball. Could be double play ball. The throw to second and the throw to first. And that's going to be in time for the double play. And that is going to retire the side. And what an inning for the Seattle Mariners, as they didn't get the 1-2-3, but they got out of it with a double play. And now we will be back after this timeout.
Now sizzling at Apollo Mediterranean Greek Food, come enjoy our flat-top grilled Greek chicken and beef, Slovaki tender, juicy and bursting with Mediterranean flavor, served with savory yellow rice, fresh daily cut veggies for our crisp salads, homemade hummus, plus warm pita, and our signature tzatziki, perfect for a fresh filling meal made with care. Cold beer available. Order now at apollogreekfood.com. Come visit us for a delicious meal and a cold beer. We'd love to serve you.
Commercial break is still ongoing at the moment. 1993 All-Star game is what they're showing. Kirby Puckett was the All-Star. Wonder who were the All-Stars back in that time. The starters were, for the National League, Marquise Grissom, Barry Bonds, Gary Sheffield, John Kruk, Barry Larkin, Mark Grace, David Justice, Darren Dalton, and Reen Sandberg. Their starting pitcher was Terry Mulholland at the time. Actually, believe it or not, he was a former All-Star, and he pitched for the Seattle Mariners in the second half of 1996. And then other All-Stars. For the American League, Roberto Alomar, Paul Molitor, Ken Griffey Jr., Joe Carter, John Olerud, Kirby Puckett, Cal Ripken Jr., Wade Boggs, and Ivan Rodriguez. And that's going to be in there for a strike. Wait, what? They're just showing highlights. Wait, what's going on? Oh, looks like there was a review, and looks like it's not out. They reviewed the call, and now here's the pitch, and that's going to be popped up into left field, and Arozarena is going to be there, and he makes the catch, and that one's going to retire the side. Looks like they challenged the call, but all for nothing eventually. Mark Langston was their starting pitcher in 1993, and he was pitching for the California Angels. Mark Langston's best days were actually in the 80s for the Seattle Mariners. That was actually his prime years. They're showing, looks like Jim Thome and Kenny Lofton. Kenny Lofton looks like he's still in shape, but man, did Jim Thome really let himself go. Jim Thome's an old man. I remember watching Jim Thome back in his prime. Jim Thome was he was a big-time slugger back then for the Cleveland Indians at the time. He was there from 1991 all the way to 2002. His prime was when he hit 52 home runs in 2002, 118 RBIs, 122 walks, 139 strikeouts. So batted .304 with a .445 on-base percentage. But somehow he hadn't been selected to the All-Star game in all of those 3 seasons. I mean, Cleveland, the All-Star games. Let's look at 99 and see who he was snubbed by. $1999 was his last one. Yeah, until 2004 and 2006 when he became an All-Star. But in 2000, he was snubbed by Jason Giambi, Carlos Delgado, Edgar Martinez, Fred McGriff, and Mike Sweeney. He is pretty competitive company, if you ask me there. And then 2001, he was snubbed by John Olerud, Tony Clark, Jason Giambi, and Mike Sweeney. How did Tony Clark get it over Jim Thome? That's a mystery. Now we're back from the break, and that's going to be a strike to Julio Rodriguez. And then in 2002, he was definitely snubbed by Yankees Jason Giambi as well. Now the 0-1, and that's going to be outside for a ball. It was Jason Giambi, Paul Konerko, and Mike Sweeney. As now we're at 1-1. And now the pitch. Now here's a ground ball, and that's going to be right to the second baseman. Throw to first, and that's going to be in time. Now next up to the plate is going to be Eugenio Suarez. Now the pitch. Now here's a fly ball to left field, but that's going to be caught by the left fielder. And he makes the catch, and that's going to be 2 outs already.
Now here is Josh Naylor up to the plate, who unfortunately hit into a double play. Now the pitch, and that's going to be a foul ball. Looking at Kenny Lofton, he was an all-star from 94 all the way to 99. And now the pitch, and that's going to be way outside for a ball. Strangely, Kenny Lofton was traded away from the Cleveland Indians. Little do people know, and after the 1996 season, just before the start of the season of 1997, literally right before opening day, he was traded by the Cleveland Indians with Alan Embry to the Atlanta Braves for Marquise Grissom and David Justice. And then the pitch, and that's going to be a strike. And then he went back to Cleveland anyway for a 4-year contract. Alan Embry was definitely just a throw-in player. He was a decent bullpen pitcher, I guess. Now the pitch. Now here is a foul ball. It wasn't really much. Now we're at 1-2, the pitch, and that's going to be low for a ball. Now we're at 2-2, and the pitch, and that's going to be a swing and a miss, strike 3, and that's going to retire the side. A 1-2-3 inning for the Cleveland Guardians, and now we will go into another commercial break. Try our delicious burgers today. Satisfy your cravings with our mouth-watering burgers. Double cheeseburger with classic double beef patties with melted cheese, lettuce, tomatoes, onion and house sauce, a fresh, flavorful delight. Double bacon cheeseburger, crispy bacon, fried onions, barbecue sauce, and double cheese. Double guacamole bacon burger, double cheese, crispy bacon, guacamole, lettuce, tomatoes, onions, and our special house sauce. Pair any burger with fries with an ice-cold drink for the perfect meal. Come down and taste the difference. You can only find these burgers at our Snoqualmie Mexican food truck. And we are back from the break. And now it's going to be the bottom of the third inning. Next is going to be Schneemann. I think it's Dan Schneemann. It is Dan Schneemann. He's up to the plate. No, it's actually, excuse me, it's Stephen Kwan. And now here is the pitch. And that's going to be way up high for a ball, and that is going to be ball 1. Stephen Kwan is 1 for 1 with a base hit. Got a single. And now the pitch. And that's going to be way outside for a ball. As now we're at 2-0. And now the pitch. And that's going to be a strike. Believe it or not, the Wahoo logo for the Cleveland Indians at the time, it was until 2013. And then 2014, they changed it to the big C. And now the pitch. And now here's a liner to right field, and that's going to be caught by Dom Canzoni. It was just right there.
And that's going to be 1 out. Guardians of 2022 is when they were called the Cleveland Guardians rather than the Cleveland Indians. Daniel Schneemann is up to the plate. Now the pitch. And that's going to be right in there for a strike. Stephen Kwan last season was a much better hitter, batting .292. Now the pitch. Now here's a ground ball foul. Nonetheless, Stephen Kwan still became an all-star in the 2025 season. It's now 0-2 for Daniel Schneemann. Stephen Kwan's been in the major league since 2022. And he's been outstanding since. And now the 2-2. And that will be up high for a ball. As now we're at 1-2. And now the pitch. It's going to be way up high for a ball, 2-2. Kirby now has 36 pitches. And now the pitch. And that's going to be popped up. And that should be up to Cal Raleigh to make that catch. And he will. And that is going to be already 2 outs. A little bit of a better inning for the Mariners. Now we got Jose Ramirez, who hit the double and nearly scored in a run. But the Mariners held on in that bottom of the first inning. He's batting .286 with 26 home runs. And now the pitch. And that's going to be right in there for a strike. It's going to be 0-1 for Ramirez. And now the pitch. And that's going to be popped up and fouled. And that's going to be 0-2. Now we're at 0-2. And now here's the pitch. Way up high for a ball. That's going to be 1-2. Now we're at 1-2. And the pitch. Now here's going to be a ground ball. Easy play for Crawford. Throw to first. And that's going to be in time. And that's going to be retiring the side. An easy 1-2-3 inning for the Mariners. And we will go into another commercial break. Oh, commercial. And we are back from the break. It's now 4-0. And now the pitch to Polanco. And that's going to be low for a ball. He has a 2-run home run for Jorge Polanco. Now the pitch. And that's going to be outside for a ball. Mariners with 4 runs on 5 hits. And now the pitch. Low for a ball, and that is going to be 3-0. And the 3-0 pitch. And that's going to be a strike. Umpire wasn't going to let him have that one, as that one was actually off the plate, off the strike zone. As now we're at 3-1. And now the pitch. Now here's a liner, and that goes right through for a base hit. And now Jorge Polanco is now 2 for 2. He is now a triple and a double away from the cycle. Now here's Mitch Garver up to the plate, and that's going to be right in there for a strike. Now we're at 0-1 the pitch, and now it's going to be a popped up and fouled, but it is playable, and the catcher is going to be there. Nope, it's going to be the first baseman, Daniel Schneemann. No, it's going to be Kifus, the first baseman, and he makes the catch, and that's going to be 1 out. Brewers are now 83-52. Now here's Dom Canzone up to the plate. And now here is the pitch. And that's going to be right down smack in the middle for a strike. As we're at 0-1 for Canzone. Batting .281 with 7 home runs. And a pitch. And that's going to be a ground ball foul. And now the pitch, low for a ball. Polanco's hitting this year is what we expected from him last year. Good to see. Yeah, pretty much, if you think about it. He has now 21 home runs this season. And now we're at 1-2. And now the pitch, low for a ball, and that is 2-2. Usually Canzone swings at those. We're at 2-2. And now the pitch. That's going to be a ground ball foul. Now 2-2. And now the pitch. And that's going to be a ball throw to second. That's going to be, I think he's out. Yep, he is out of there. And the stolen base attempt by Jorge Polanco, which I did not find necessary because I don't see him as a stolen base guy. So I'm not really sure why he went for it. Not sure why Dan Wilson made that call too. He's already out by a mile. And now the pitch. And that's going to be low for a ball. Ball 4. Good at bat by Dom Canzone, but too bad that he couldn't just bring Jorge Polanco to second base. Because Jorge Polanco got himself out. And now next up is going to be J.P. Crawford. He is 0 for 1 with a strikeout, batting .261 with 9 home runs and 46 RBIs. And the pitch, low for a ball. Now the 1-0, and that's going to be a swing and a miss. Now we're at 1-1. And now the pitch. And that's going to be low for a ball. Two and one. And now the pitch. Low for a ball, 3-1. And the pitch. And that's going to be right in there for a strike. And that was really Crawford's pitch to swing. A little bit confused why he didn't go for it. Now it's full count, 3-2. Now we're at 3-2. And now the pitch. Swing and a miss, strike 3. Second strikeout for J.P. Crawford, and that's going to retire the side. It's been a very quiet inning since the very first inning, and now it's going into the bottom of the fourth, and it is still 4-0 Mariners, but that may not last.
Try our delicious burgers today. Satisfy your cravings with our mouth-watering burgers. Double cheeseburger with classic double beef patties with melted cheese, lettuce, tomatoes, onion and house sauce, a fresh, flavorful delight. Double bacon cheeseburger, crispy bacon, fried onions, barbecue sauce, and double cheese. Double guacamole bacon burger, double cheese, crispy bacon, guacamole, lettuce, tomatoes, onions, and our special house sauce. Pair any burger with fries with an ice-cold drink for the perfect meal. Come down and taste the difference. You can only find these burgers at our Snoqualmie Mexican food truck.
Still ongoing with the commercial breaks. And we are back from the break. And it's going to be up to Cleveland to see if he can get something going. But as a Mariners fan, no thank you. That's going to be a foul ball. And that's going to be 0-1 to Manzardo. Now we're at 0-1. And now the pitch. And that's going to be in there for a strike. And the pitch. Now here's the liner to right field, and that is going to be a base hit. And we got a man on first base. That was a nice hit by Manzardo. And now we've got man on first with nobody out. And now the pitch. And now here's a fly ball drilled to right center field, but Canzone makes the catch. And he made the leap to make the catch and the throw to first, not in time, but a great defensive catch by Dom Canzone, saving the Mariners from preventing an extra base hit. Nice running leaping catch by Canzone. Not easy to do. And now we got the next batter. It's going to be Martinez up to the plate. And now here's going to be a ground ball, double play ball, throw to second, and the throw to first. And that's going to be not in time, but it was a nice attempt for a double play. I saw that from him from 2023. He had some pretty good defensive plays. I actually had high hopes for Canzone. I thought he was going to be one of the breakout players of 24, but that unfortunately never happened. Now the pitch, and that's going to be a swing and a miss, and that is strike one to Kifus. He was safe on a fielder's choice, batting 194. Now the pitch, and that's going to be a swing and a miss. And that is 0-2 on Kifus. And the pitch, low for a ball. And that's going to be 1-2. And the pitch. And now here's a low for a ball. And no throw to second. It got off of the glove of Cal Raleigh. Got off of his arm. Had no idea what happened. And I'll be curious to see what the replay says about this one. Here's what it was. Cal Raleigh just somehow, he threw it, but it somehow just ricocheted off of himself. And I'm really confused how that happened. And now we're at 2-2 for Kifus in the pitch. Swing and a miss right at the dirt for strike three. And that's going to retire the side. Another semi-easy inning for the Mariners. And we will go into the top of the fifth inning as this game is starting to just breeze along.
We're making half pineapple, half tiki with barbecue chicken. You put the garlic. Put the pineapple on the whole pizza. Remember, they want half pineapple, and the one is going to be tiki tiki. Tiki tiki with pineapple, garlic, feta cheese, artichoke hearts, and the chicken. And we're going to spread some barbecue on top. And it's ready. Put it on the oven. Let it run.
Hello, baseball fans. I'm excited to announce that we are still offering 50% off pizza and 25% off bowling Monday and Tuesdays. Head on over to Snoqualmie Sahara Pizza. This deal will go through May.
Wonder where the game is. Oh, it turned off by itself. Still on commercial break, though. And now we are back from the break. Now here's Randy Arozarena, and that's going to be in there for a strike. And now the pitch, and low for a ball. Now it's going to be 1-1 for Randy Arozarena. Now the pitch. Swing and a miss. 1-1. Is now or 1-2. And now the pitch. Low for a ball. Is now we're at 2-2. And now the pitch. Now here's a ground ball right to second baseman. Throw to first. And that's going to be in time. Cal Raleigh with his 50 home runs is what they're showing. Now Cal Raleigh's up to the plate. And that's going to be ball for 1-0. And now the 1-0 pitch. And that's going to be low again for a ball, 2-0. And now the pitch. Way outside for a ball, 3-0. And that's going to be a strike, 3-1. It's going to be 3-1. Let's see what Cal Raleigh can do with a 3-1 count. And now the pitch. Low for ball 4. Second walk drawn by Cal Raleigh. He's been much more patient this time. And now we got a man on first base for Julio Rodriguez. Julio has 105 home runs, 110 stolen bases. Only Bobby Witt Jr. is ahead of him. And guys like those, we also got Darryl Strawberry and Barry Bonds. So good company for both those guys to be in there. And now here's the pitch to Julio. And that's going to be inside for a ball. He is 1 for 2 with a single and a ground out. And now the pitch. Way inside for a ball. That nearly got him. And that is going to be 2-0. Now here's a double play ball in the throw to first in time, and that's going to be in time for the double play. And now we have another scoreless inning since the first inning. But you would think that Cleveland is due to at least get some runs.
Senor, tell me how you make a thin crust Sahara pizza.
With your hands. Cornmeal.
Hello, baseball fans. I'm excited to announce that we are still offering 50% off pizza and 25% off bowling Monday and Tuesdays. Head on over to Snoqualmie Sahara Pizza. This deal will go through May.
And that's how you make a Sahara pizza. Beautiful thin crust.
Now we are back from the break as Kirby is on the mound going into the 5th inning. He has pitched very well after that tough first inning that he had, and he still came up with no runs on that. Now the pitch and a swing and a miss, and that was to Jones, and that is strike one. Now we're at 0-1, and now the pitch, and that's going to be low for a ball. Now the pitch, and that's going to be a ground ball right to second baseman Polanco. Throw to first, and that's going to be in time. And now the pitch. And that's going to be a bunting attempt. And now the barehanded throw by no play by Suarez as the runner was just too fast. Suarez didn't really have much of a chance to get him. That was Brian Rocchio. And now the pitch. Now here's going to be a line drive, and that's going to be caught by Randy Arozarena, and that's going to be 2 outs right there. And now the pitch. Way inside for a ball. Now the 1-0. And check swing, did he go? He did not. It's going to be 2-0.
As now we're at 2-0. And now the pitch. And that's going to be popped up into left field. And Randy Arozarena is there. And he makes the catch. And once again, another easy inning for the Mariners. As we go into the top of the 6th inning, it is still absolutely no score.
Modern Exterior Solutions is a fully licensed and insured full-service exterior renovations company serving Seattle and East Side communities. We know that a home is one of your most important possessions. That's why we're committed to providing high-quality, affordable home renovations for each customer's individual budget. We're diverse enough to meet the challenges of any project you put in front of us. Our workmanship minimizes the use of third-party services, and our team works together to meet all your deadlines. Anytime there's a challenge, we work with you to find a solution. We're proud to work with distributors of quality brand products with durable, ample protection from the elements for a variety of applications, including James Hardie siding and trim. Talk with us today about your project's needs, and we can help you solve all the challenges along the way.
Man, I'm just not paying attention to the screen. It just keeps dimming out. All I missed was a Shohei Ohtani commercial. And now we got Eugenio Suarez up to the plate. Suarez, who is 1 for 2. And now the pitch. And that's going to be not in there for a ball. And now the pitch. Swing and a miss. And a lazy swing and a miss. Didn't have to swing at it. And that's going to be 1-1. Did not like that swing by Suarez. And that's going to be up high for a ball. And now the pitch. And that's going to be right in there for a strike. 2-2. And now the pitch. And that's going to be strike 3 called. And that's going to be 1 out. Most stolen bases. Josh Naylor since July 25th. He is second just behind Jazz Chisholm Jr. Who would have thought? Now here's Josh Naylor, the former Cleveland, and now the pitch. And that's going to be right in there for a strike. Now the pitch, and that's going to be a foul ball. Now we're at 0-2. And now the pitch. And he reaches it out, and that's going to be a popped up. And he makes the catch. That's going to be 2 outs. And now next up to the plate is going to be Jorge Polanco, who singled last time, but then he got thrown out at second base for an unnecessary stolen base attempt.
Now here's Jorge Polanco. And now the pitch. And that's going to be a foul ball. Because now we're at 0-1. And the pitch. Low for a ball again. Or just low for a ball in general. As now we're at 1-1. And now the pitch. Now here's a fly ball. Belted. No, not belted at all. Right, left center field. And he makes the catch. And that is going to retire the side. A 1-2-3 inning for the Guardians. And now we're going to go into the middle of the 6th inning. Going to the bottom of the 6th inning.
Taco lovers, this one's for you. Come enjoy tacos autenticos at Snoqualmie Mexican food truck, packed with flavor, made with love, and always fresh. Try our carne asada, al pastor con piña, and more. Topped with cebolla, cilantro, y a squeeze of lime. Pair it with a cold drink and relax at our outdoor seating. Perfecto para disfrutar. Find us at the Snoqualmie Mexican food truck, open daily. Ven con hambre, sal fies. Senor, tell me how you make a thin crust Sahara pizza.
With your hands. Cornmeal.
Hello, baseball fans. I'm excited to announce that we are still offering 50% off pizza and 25% off bowling Monday and Tuesdays. Head on over to Snoqualmie Sahara Pizza. This deal will go through May.
And that's how you make a Sahara pizza. Beautiful thing.
And now we are back from the break. And now here's the pitch. And that is going to be a strike. And George Kirby has been very efficient throughout this game. And now here's the pitch. And that's going to be a foul ball. Now we're at 0-2 for Jose Ramirez. And now the pitch. And that's going to be a foul ball again. And the pitch. Now here's a ground ball right to Jorge Polanco. Throw to first, and that's going to be in time for the easy out. And now we got Kyle Manzardo. Now the pitch. It's going to be up high for a ball. And now the pitch. And that's going to be right in there for a strike. And the pitch. Did he go? He did not. Now we're at 2-1 from Manzardo. And now the pitch. Now here's a fly ball drilled to right center field. Forget about that one. Manzardo put the Cleveland Guardians on the board. That's his 22nd home run. And that was just absolutely blasted out there. And Cleveland finally gets themselves on the board as the Mariners won and the Guardians, as the Mariners 4 and the Guardians 1. That was just absolutely just drilled. Maybe that could be a start of a comeback for Cleveland. And now here's the pitch. And that's going to be up high for a ball. Now the pitch. And that's going to be right in there for a strike. And the pitch. And that'll be there for a strike for Naylor. And that's going to be 1-2. And the pitch. It's going to be way up high for a ball. As now we're at 2-2, the pitch. And that's going to be a ground ball foul. Now we're at 2-2 for Naylor. Now the pitch. Swing and a miss, strike 3, and that's going to be 2 outs. Yeah, that ball was just absolutely just drilled. It was gone. And that's going to be in there for a strike. To Martinez. And that's going to be a ball. As now we're at 1-1. Now the pitch. Swing and a miss, and that is strike 2. Daily Mean Doses says, no wonder why you complain about 2002 match. You're Korean. What are you referring to? Are you referring to the Italy YouTube short that I made? And that's going to be low for a ball. Trying to get an understanding of what you're... Yeah, but this is about the Mariners, though. Has nothing to do with South Korean soccer. Won't be talking about that much until maybe September when they play against the United States. Now we're at 2-2. And now the pitch. And that's going to be popped up into foul territory. And Eugenio Suarez will not make it, as it seemed out of play for him anyway. Now we're at 2-2. Now here's the pitch. And that's going to be popped up and fouled. Also, use my promo code Labor Day 25 to get your $20 off on Labor Day, or up to 25% off. And now the pitch. And that's going to be a ground ball foul. I'll certainly be promoting that on Labor Day. As now we're at 2-2 for Martinez. And the pitch. Low for a ball, and that's going to be a full count, 3-2. The full count, and now the pitch. And that's going to be popped up into left field, and Randy Arozarena should be there. And he makes the catch, and that's going to retire the side. Now we're going into the top of the 7th inning. It is still absolutely no score.
Try our delicious burgers today. Satisfy your cravings with our mouth-watering burgers. Double cheeseburger with classic double beef patties with melted cheese, lettuce, tomatoes, onion and house sauce, a fresh, flavorful delight. Double bacon cheeseburger, crispy bacon, fried onions, barbecue sauce, and double cheese. Double guacamole bacon burger, double cheese, crispy bacon, guacamole, lettuce, tomatoes, onions, and our special house sauce. Pair any burger with fries with an ice-cold drink for the perfect meal. Come down and taste the difference. You can only find these burgers at our Snoqualmie Mexican food truck.
Is that the All-Star Game shootout thing? Oh my gosh, I can't believe that that was actually a thing. Hey, they're doing a home run shootout. It made absolutely no sense. Is that Trevor Hoffman? I don't know who that is. It might be. It's not Trevor Hoffman. And now we are back from the break, and now there's a new pitcher, and now the pitch to Garver, and that is up high for a ball. It is Junis up to the plate, up the mound, the pitch, and that's going to be outside for a ball. And now we're at 2-0, and now the pitch, and that's going to be a foul ball. As now we're at 2-1. And now the pitch. And now here's a fly ball belted to deep left field. Is that going to be enough? Nope. That is going to be caught by the left fielder, Stephen Kwan. And now that's going to be 1 out. He slightly just got under it. Now the pitch, and that's going to be a foul ball. And is that? Nope, that is not playable. As now we're at 0-1. Now we're at 0-1 to Canzone. Now the pitch. Now here's a liner, and that's going to be caught by the first baseman, and 2 outs already. Now here's J.P. Crawford up to the plate. Right after this inning, it will be the 7th inning stretch. And now the pitch. And that's going to be outside for a ball. And that's going to be way outside for a ball. And J.P. Crawford, the pitch. And that's going to be a foul ball. It's going to be 2-1. Now we're at 2-1. Now the pitch. And that's going to be way up high for a ball. And that's going to be popped up into foul territory, but Ramirez should be there. And he makes the catch, and that is going to retire the side. We are going into the 7th inning stretch. Time to say, take me out to the ball game. Take me out to the ball game. Take me out to the crowd. Buy me some peanuts and Cracker Jacks. I don't care if I ever get back, so let's root for the Mariners. If they don't win, it's a shame. It would be a shame because the Mariners have a 4-1 lead. For it's 1, 2, 3 strikes, you're out at the old ball game. Oh no, said we gotta go. Yeah. Oh, they said we gotta go. A fine little girl, she waiting for me. Catch a ship across the sea. Ship out all alone. I miss Louie Louie. They don't really play it as much as they used to, and the version they play now is just atrocious. And we are back from the break. Showing 1995 World Series highlights from Game 3. It was a game winner. And now the pitch. And that's going to be in there for a strike. And George Kirby is still going strong. He's at 83 pitches going into the 7th inning. And now here's Kifus up to the plate. And now the pitch. And that's going to be low for a ball. As now we're at 1-1. And now the pitch. Swing and a miss. And that is strike 2. We're at 1-2. We're at 2-2. And now the 2-2 pitch by Kirby. And a swing and a miss. Strike 3. And I wonder how many strikeouts that is for George Kirby. Strikeout number 6. And now we've got 1 out. as George Kirby has really been breezing along. And now here is the first pitch, and that's going to be up high for a ball. As we're at 1-0. And the pitch, and that's going to be right in there for a strike. Now we're at 1-1. And now the pitch, low for a ball. And that's going to be 2-1 to count. Got a few innings to go until the Mariners put themselves in a position to secure a victory. Right now, Angels and Astros are just barely underway. No, they're 3 innings in, and now the pitch, low for a ball, 3-1. As now we're at 3-1 the pitch. And now here's a fly ball belted to deep center field. Now here's Julio, and that is gone. That is a home run for Jones. And now the Cleveland Guardians have cut it to within 2. It's the Mariners 4 and Cleveland 2. And Nolan Jones hit a home run that hit it way over Julio's head. And now this is getting very, very dangerous. Now the Mariners only have a 2-run lead. It doesn't help when you've been having a stagnating offense, and it's only a matter of time until Cleveland possibly makes a comeback. I don't know what to say. Looks like George Kirby's going to be done after this inning. Now here's the pitch. And that's going to be a fly ball to left field, and that is a fair ball. It looks like it's a fair ball, and now he's going to go to second base. And now we got the tying run at the plate. Don't like what's going on. This is getting, again, very dangerous. It was a nice hit. I wonder if that's a foul ball. I wonder if that is challengeable by Dan Wilson. Is he making that challenge? I think they did challenge it. Yep, play is under review. I don't think it's a challenge. It's just a review by the umpire. And we're going to see where it landed. Yep, that is clearly a foul ball. If that's not a foul, then I don't know what is. Just waiting to see what the end result is. And yep, looks like that is a foul ball. Both home runs were done by lefties. Now we're at 0-1. And now here is the pitch. And that's going to be low for a ball. One and one to count. And now the pitch. That is going to be up high for a ball, 2-1. Now the 2-1. And that's going to be popped up into, who's got it? Jorge Polanco's got it. He talks, makes the catch, and that's going to be 2 outs. Now here comes Dan Wilson out to the mound, and he is going to bring in Caleb Ferguson. I believe a lefty is going to be up, so Dan Wilson's thinking, screw it, let's just get the lefty in. And he hasn't made the call yet. And looks like Dan Wilson is still going to keep George Kirby into the game. Looks like Ferguson just wasn't ready quite yet. Now the pitch. And that's going to be popped up. And here's Suarez. And he's not going to get there. Now here's a fly ball to right center field, and now here's Canzoni makes the catch, and that is going to retire the side. And I think after that, George Kirby is done for the day.
Senor, tell me how you make a thin crust Sahara pizza.
With your hands. Cornmeal.
Hello, baseball fans. I'm excited to announce that we are still offering 50% off pizza and 25% off bowling Monday and Tuesdays. Head on over to Snoqualmie Sahara Pizza. This deal will go through May.
And that's how you make a Sahara pizza. Beautiful thing.
Commercial break is still ongoing. It's going to be at the top of the 8th inning, and let's hope that the Mariners can actually, let's get some insurance runs. Now they're playing the helmet game. And now we're back from the break. Now here's Randy Arozarena, and that is going to be a strike. As now we're at 0-1 on the El Rando Grando. And now the pitch. Now here's a fly ball to deep right field, and that is going to drop in for a base hit.
and it goes over the head, and Randy Arozarena might actually go for a triple. He's going for it, and a throw to third is going to be in time. He gets him out. Randy Arozarena has been thrown out, and I wonder if they're going to challenge the call. I think they are out of challenges, and Dan Wilson is calling the challenge. And I thought Randy had a chance. He did have a chance. I am just absolutely stunned what just happened. Yep, Dan Wilson's calling the challenge. That was a nice hit by Randy. A lot of bad base running by the Mariners today. And Randy thought he had it. He wasn't even looking and paying attention. But it looks like he might be safe. It looks like there is a case, but now we've got to see what the tag looks like. And Randy, oh yeah, he's safe. He's got to be safe. I don't know how you can call that an out. Yeah, he was also blocked too. They blocked the path. But we're going to wait and see what the review says. It sounds like this call might just stand, though. Yeah, they're trying to argue that Jose Ramirez was in the way. And let's see what their call is going to be. Looks like Dan Wilson's visibly frustrated. It looks like he may not get the call. It's like umpire is not happy about it. Looks like they're sensing that it's going to be called out. Wonder what they're trying to say. It's like Dan Wilson's very upset. And yep, Randy Arozarena looks like he's going to be out. And now they lose that challenge.
And that's what I'm saying. I said, if you challenge the block call, that's what you want to do. You don't charge the penalty. Say foul, challenge the blocking.
Looks like Dan Wilson didn't challenge the blocking. Now the pitch to Cal Raleigh. That's going to be outside for a ball. So it looks like Dan Wilson didn't do the challenging right. And now the pitching. And that's going to be up high for a ball. And now the pitch. And that's going to be up high for a ball. And now the pitch going to be way up high for a ball. Ball 4. Take your base. Three walks for Cal Raleigh. So he's actually having a pretty good game. He's contributed very well. And now it's going to be Julio Rodriguez up to the plate. Let's see if he could actually do some damage. Could have been runners at first and third. Or first and second. Now the pitch. And that's going to be in there for a strike. Mariners scored all 4 of their runs in the first inning. Now we're at 0-1. And now the pitch. And a swing and a miss. And that's going to be strike 2. We got some activity in the bullpen by Cleveland. 2 more pitchers in the bullpen. Cleveland's been absolutely decimated this season with a lot of injuries. And now the pitch. And a swing and a miss, and that's going to be strike 3. And now it's going to be up to Eugenio Suarez. Now the pitch to Suarez, and that's going to be a strike. Could really see some would like to see some big hits out of Suarez. We're going to need it right now because 2 runs clearly isn't enough. Now the pitch, outside for a ball. One and one. And now the pitch. Be inside for a ball, just inside. And now we're at 2 and 1. The pitch. Check swing. Did he go? He did not go, and that's going to be 3 and 1. Now we're at 3 and 1. And the pitch. Now here's a ground ball. That could be a play to first. And that's going to be in time, and that's going to retire the side. And that is going to go. Oh, is Dan Wilson challenging? Like, what is he doing? Yep, they're going to agree that it is an out. I don't know. I can't tell, but it doesn't really matter because Dan Wilson didn't want to challenge it. Very disappointing inning for the Mariners once again, and they're in danger. I think it's going to be Caleb Ferguson coming out of the bullpen. Still on commercial break. And now we're back from the break. And it's going to be Caleb Ferguson. Or not Caleb Ferguson. I think it'll be Matt Brash. And the pitch. And that's going to be right in there for a strike for Schneemann. Schneemann is 0 for 3 in this game. And now here's the pitch. Swing and a miss, strike 2.
And you would think after this game, it's going to be up to Andres Munoz to get that save. We'll see where this goes. As we're at 0-2, the pitch. And strike 3 called. Nice pitching by Matt Brash. And that is going to be 1 out on a 1-2-3 strikeout. And that's going to be in there for, that's going to be out there for a ball. It's going to be Jose Ramirez, their best hitter. Now the pitch. Low for a ball. It's going to be 2-0. So Matt Brash showing a little bit of wildness. As we're at 2-0. And the pitch. Low for a ball. It's going to be 3-0. And the pitch. Ball 4, take your base. And now it gets very, very dangerous. Oh boy, it gets dangerous. Not only that, but now we've got a tying run at the plate. And this game could change real quickly. Now the pitch. And that's going to be low for a ball. That nearly got away. And that should have gotten Jose Ramirez to second base. Two home runs by the Guardians, which is why they're still in this game. Now the 1-0. Way inside. And that's going to be a ball. And I think that's like 5 straight balls thrown by Matt Brash. And I mean, Cal Raleighs have already had a chatter with him, but it looks like it's not enough to save him. Now we're at 2-0. The pitch. Swing and a miss. And finally. And good thing he swung at that because that would have been ball 3 easily. And the pitch. And that's going to be 3-1. And Matt Brash has lost control of this game so far. We're at 3-1 for Brash. And now the pitch. And ball 4, take your base. Now we got runners on first and second with only 1 out. And I wonder if Dan Wilson's just going to pull out Matt Brash because it is just not working. And now you've got Naylor. Pete Woodworth is now having a talk with him on the mound. And it's about time because they really need it. And it's not like you could have gone George Kirby for one more inning because he was kind of getting figured out. But now it's the bullpen's job to do what they can. Now here's Josh Naylor, who's 0 for 3. Now the pitch. And finally, that is a legitimate strike. And that's going to be 0-1. And the pitch. Now here's a ground ball. Could be double play ball. Throw to second. And no play at first as Polanco lost the positioning. And now we got runners on first and third with 2 outs, although. But now the question is, who's going to be up to the plate? It's going to be Martinez up to the plate. And it's still very dangerous. The game is still up for grabs as Polanco had no chance to throw at first base. Ferguson is warming up in the bullpen. And I wonder if Andres Munoz is also going to get is going to start warming up, because I would warming up now. Now the pitch. And that is going to be a strike. Now we're at 0-1, and now the pitch. And that is outside for a ball. And it's going to be 1-1. And the pitch, swing and a miss, and that is strike 2. Now we're at 1-2 for Martinez. And that's going to be low for a ball. Going to be 2-2 for Martinez. And the pitch. And there's going to be a ground ball. And that's not going to get anywhere for an out. And now we've got 4-3. And now Cleveland has brought it to within 1. And at this point, I would just have Dan Wilson really should come out of the bullpen. He should just really get out of there and get Matt Brash out of there. It was on a weak grounder. And no one was in absolute of any position to make that play, which forces in the run. And Matt Brash just could not believe what just happened. Just the idea that they scored on literally just based on nothing. And they're still going to go with him. Here's Kifus up to the plate, who is 0 for 3. And now here's the pitch. And that's going to be right in there for a strike. Now, this is where things can get very, very dangerous. As now we're at 0-1 the pitch, and that's going to be outside for a ball. And I cannot believe what I'm just seeing right now, as we're at 1-1 for Kifus. And now the pitch, and that's going to be a foul ball. Let's see if if I were Matt Brash, just throw the flamethrower. Just throw strikes at this point. As we are at 1-2. Those walks will get you. Absolutely it does. No surprise at all. Now the 1-2 pitch. And that's going to be up high for a ball. As now we're at 2-2. And now the pitch. Swing and a miss, strike 3, and that is going to retire the side. But, however, the Mariners, in disappointing fashion, they give up another run, and now they are just absolutely cutting it close. Don't know what to say on that one. Mariners really need some insurance runs, like desperately. 1-run lead is just not going to do it. And the hitters that are going to do it are going to be, I think it's Garver, Canzone, and Crawford. And you don't really feel good about that one. Or it could be Naylor and Polanco and Garver, but even then, I don't know. Commercial break is still ongoing. Showing some of the 95 Cleveland highlights when they were the Indians. Those are the days of 1995. Is this thing done yet? It's like, okay, I get it. This thing is like really behind. Wait a minute. What's going on with my streaming? Something is wrong with my streaming. Oh, I better fix it now. And by the way, the Mariners just hit into a double play just that fast. No wonder something was up. Okay, something is wrong with my streaming. Of course, it has to happen right before the game is pretty much, well, getting close to that end of the game. Okay, I'm going to try something else. As we're at 2 outs, and Garver's up to the bat. Garver single to left field. All right, I'm really going to try to fix this. Something is absolutely wrong with my streaming. I have no idea. Okay, finally got it back. Now here's Dom Canzone, who's up to the plate. As now it's an 0-1 for Canzone. And now here's the pitch. Swing and a miss, and that is strike 2. And now we've got the pitch. Now here's a liner to center field, and that is going to be a base hit. Luke Raley's actually at second base. He is actually pinch running for Mitch Garver. Now here comes the pitching coach. Having a little bit of a chatter with him. He's just basically telling him, hey, relax. It's just J.P. Crawford. He ain't going to do anything for you anyway. Upcoming Mariners schedule. They've got Cleveland to start with. Then you're going to go to Tampa and then Atlanta. So it's going to be a very tough road trip for the Mariners. Teams that they typically struggle against. Now here is J.P. Crawford up to the plate. Here's Crawford. And now the throwback to second. And that's going to be not in time. Crawford is 0 for 3. And now here is the pitch. And that's going to be a strike anyway, and that's going to be 0-1. And now the pitch. And that's going to be in there for a strike once again. As now we're at 0-2 for Crawford. And now the pitch. Low for a ball, 1-2. Crawford's awaiting on a 1-2. And now the pitch. And that's going to be popped up, and that's not going to get it done. And he makes the catch. That's Ramirez. He bobbled it initially, but he does make the catch, and now that's going to retire the side. And now we've got the closer, Andres Munoz, going to be up on the mound, but I don't know if they're going to survive this one. I just don't see it, unfortunately. It'll be nerve-wracking. Player of the game, I would say Jorge Polanco was 2 for 3 with 2 RBIs. The home run was what made it so. And now we are back from the break. Most career saves, Andres Munoz is 5th. Then it goes to Schooler, JJ Putz, Edwin Diaz, and Kazuhiro Sasaki. Now we got Andres Munoz. Got Nolan Jones, who hit the home run in the 7th inning. It was a solo shot. And now the pitch. And that's going to be low for a ball. And now the 1-0. And that's going to be in there for a strike. And that is 1-1. As we're at 1-1 for Jones and the pitch. And that's going to be popped up for foul. And that's going to be 1-2. Mariners barely hanging on to a 4-3 lead. They've really got to hang on and win this game. Right now, bottom of the 5th, Astros are at 0-0 with men on 1st and 2nd in the bottom. Now here's a fly ball to right center field, and that's going to drop in for a base hit. And the question is, if you're going to go to second base, the throw to second, and it is not in time. And now we've got a runner in scoring position, and this is where things will get very, very dangerous. The Guardians were just slowly chipping away. It was a nice hit by Jones. And now I wonder who is up to the plate after Jones. It's going to be Rocchio. And I don't know if they're going to do the intentional walk, which I almost am tempted to do so, just so you can give yourself an opportunity for a double play. As he is 1 for 3, and now the pitch. And now here's a bunting attempt, and that is fouled. As now we're at 0-1 for Brian Rocchio. And now the pitch. And that is going to be a ball. As we're at 1-1. And again, this is where things are getting very, very dangerous. I don't know if the Mariners are going to get out of this inning or this game in general. As we got Jones at second base. He's going for another bunting attempt, and that's going to be outside for a ball. Mariners failing to score, leaving way too many on base. Which one, and really bad base running too, as we're at 2-1. And now here is another bunting attempt, and that is going to be strike 2. Now you can't foul. Now you can't bunt, because if you do bunt and you foul again, you strike out. And we know that Cleveland's not going to do that. Reminds me of a time back in 2002. Jeff Cirillo was going for a sacrifice bunt to advance the runners or possibly help the Mariners win the game. But unfortunately, he got to strike 2 on the bunt. Now the pitch. And now here's a fly ball. And this actually could drop in for a base hit. And now they're going to wave in the run and the throw to the plate. And it gets away from Cal Raleigh, and the game is tied. Bad throw by Randy Arozarena, and now there's a runner on third base with still nobody out, and now this game may belong to Cleveland. Oh my goodness, what just happened? It was a horrible throw by Arozarena. And I knew that this game just felt too good to be true. And the Cleveland there, and that throw by Arozarena was way off course for Cal Raleigh. Cal Raleigh somehow couldn't get to it. I mean, Arozarena really had no choice but to throw it on the run. It just it took a bad bounce at the last second. And now at this point, I would just intentionally walk everything. Put the bases loaded. What do you got to lose at this point? You probably already lost this game anyway. I just can't believe what I'm seeing right now. The ball took a bad bounce at the last. It hit the edge of the field, of the grass, which is why it went off course. And Polanco was trying to interfere him as well. Yeah, I knew that the 4-0 lead just felt too good to be true. And now it's Kwon up to the plate. And at this point, I think that if the Mariners aren't going for the intentional walk, I think they've pretty much just thrown this game. And that's what I'm expecting. Yep, they've pretty much thrown this game away. They're throwing the game. As we got Kwon, and it's only a matter of time until they score. Now the pitch. And that's going to be a ball. And I would just load the bases at this point. But yes, you're going to be risking it for Ramirez. But what more do you have to lose? As we're at 1-0 for Stephen Kwon. And now the pitch. And that's going to be a foul ball, strike one. It's only a matter of time. Like, there's just no way the Mariners are going to get out of this. With no out to the man on third, all it takes is a fly ball to center field, and it's over. The pitch. And that's going to be a foul ball, strike two. You just know that it was just going to be too good to be true. Bloop hits, just really just lucky game for Cleveland. As we're at 1-2 for Kwon. Now the pitch. And now that's going to be a fly ball to center field. And this is probably going to do it for the Guardians. And now tagging a third and the throw to the plate. And it is not in time. And the ball game is over. The Cleveland Guardians have came back from a 4-0 deficit. And it was 4-0. It looked like it was going to be all Mariners. And then the Mariners bullpen just absolutely blew it again. And now Cleveland has won. They have taken the one game of this 3-game series. And now they're going to be 4 back from the wild card spot. And the Mariners are putting themselves in danger. With this road trip that they have, this can get very, very dangerous. And I don't know what else to say, but if there's anyone that wants to say anything about this game, chat it away, because I'm not really much interested in being there. And just really bad throw by Julio Rodriguez. He really just doesn't have an accurate arm whatsoever, giving Cal Raleigh absolutely no chance. And you knew that this game just was not meant to be. You just knew it wasn't happening. And it's no surprise whatsoever. Like, the fact that Andres Munoz, offense also just nailed it. You're right, Fritz. You couldn't be any more correct about that. And now, what do we got going on into the next game? And actually, I'm gonna give you guys a special treat. If there's anyone that wants to vent about this game, I have the link right there. If anyone wants to say anything about this game, the floor is yours to say whatever you want to say about how bad the Mariners. I mean, there's nothing you can do on a blue pit. The bad hop on the chalk line. Offense just fell asleep. Yeah, the offense really just played complacent. And that's something that you just can't do for a game like this. And yeah, Josh, here, I got something for you. We'll do this again.
My point is it's across all Seattle sports. It's this idea, like people pleading 3-4 years ago to bring back Ichiro. when
Yeah, no.
Ichiro's like 93 years old. I'm like,
I'll agree with you on that.
no, I do not want to bring back Ichiro. Like
No,
Griffey when he's got a walker out there and he
I-
gives you a single every 60 games. Like the list goes on and on. Like
I mean-
people crying. Like Haniger comes back and you think that we just signed a Hall of Famer. Like he was injured all of last year. He's like 33 years old. We trade for him, give up on Robbie Ray, which whatever. And all of a sudden, I swear, all of Twitter is like, World Series, baby! Let's go! Let's go! He was a negative WAR player for them last year, but because we love Hanny, baby, he's going to come and save the Mariners.
World Series, baby. But man, with the Mariners, their wild card's really going to cut it close. Like, there is just too much time to be complacent like that. Also, Kansas City has only a 2.5 game deficit on them, too. And it depends how Kansas City is doing. Luckily, the Tigers are winning, but that may not be enough. And again, if there's anyone that wants to say anything about this game, you are free to come on the show. I mean, I got 9 people in there. I'm like, this is your opportunity to come in and you're just really just a vent about how this game, how you felt really went. I mean, obviously, I'm very disappointed, but I'm not surprised, especially when you're off. George Kirby was giving it. It's crazy to think that had it been the 2024 Mariners, you probably would have gotten away with this game easily. Like, there's no way that Mariners in 2024. I mean, we don't know. But man, a 4-0 lead really doesn't mean anything to the Mariners at all. It really means nothing. They could have been up 10-0 and it really wouldn't have mattered. Well, anyways, I guess no one else has got to say anything, but keys to this game of how they lost this game, it was just awful base running by the Mariners. Not only was it awful base running because it was an unnecessary, I think it was like 2 unnecessary stolen base attempts. One was, I think, by Randy Arozarena, the other by Jorge Polanco. And also Randy Arozarena trying to run the third base on a triple. He got really greedy. I mean, I thought he had a shot, but who would have thought? And also the bullpen, Matt Brash getting all those walks really did not help at all. But anyways, I'm not even that disappointed. What are you supposed to do with that game? Winning bloop? I know, but it was also the offense just not doing anything. They left way too many men on base. They had all these opportunities to extend this game. And I knew that 4-0 lead was just too good to be true. But anyways, I'm going to get out of here. I got to go. But I just want to say thank you for being on this show. And all I can say is painfully saying, go Mariners.